Welcome to today's collective reading. This is Trinity Gaia Oracle. I'm going to open with clearing resonance in the note of G, resonating at 384 hertz. So if you're really sensitive to sound, just kind of skip ahead about 10 seconds, and I'll be striking here now. Okay, let's see what's going on here. The energy today for this reading. Would you like the collective to know? I am getting, at least coming in, I was getting kind of a vibe of this was promised. This was like your place, your inheritance. Also, like a reference to generations. Ho, 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 ho. Okay. Reference to generations, like the curse and the breaking of it, the traumas that you have healed from your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your grandfathers, like both sides of this. All that programming that they didn't heal in their lifetime. You, in this lifetime, you worked through the triggers that you inherited, and you chose otherwise. You chose to walk a path less traveled. And in doing so, you break way. If you live near snow, then you will probably understand that phrase, but it's the first person that breaks through the snow makes it easier for the person behind them. There's less effort because all of that snow, it looks light and fluffy, but remember, it's water. And it has some weight to it when you move against it, especially if it's a couple feet deep. So you broke the way. And that made it easier for anybody who followed you to walk in your footsteps. They'd probably maybe have a slightly different gait, a little different weight, maybe, other circumstances where it'd still be difficult. It'd still be a challenge. It'd still be cold. But it would be easier because they had a path to follow, the one you left. You are life. You are life, and you cleared the board. The karma is cleared. You've done that, and now others can learn, can follow in your footsteps in the how-to, especially if they've been dealing with similar energies. You are, okay, so you're not on this path alone. You have a partner. Someone who is like tag teaming with you, like passing of the baton, like you're really good at one part of this, and they're really good at another part of this, but you're working together, you're connected. So in like a relay race, maybe you would do like the climbing, the rock wall climbing. Oh, there's a third energy. You have Trinity. Yeah, you have the divine working as well within you. And the divine is really just anything that is of source, of creation, of love, and one. You will see this moving in synchronicities, in people, in numbers, in inanimate objects, in weather. It's everywhere. We are bathed in this field. Like, even this table is not actually solid. There's space in between the atoms. It's everywhere. There's actually more empty space than solid space. supposedly, than matter, right? Like, it's kind of wild when you get into the science of it. I think it's so cool that we live in a time where science is starting to back very ancient, what was seen as, foo-foo concepts. We're actually going, oh, so this is quantum physics that we've been practicing that was ancient and foo-foo. Now we're going, oh, hey, maybe they were onto something and they just passed it on through this story. Oh. Some of the oldest stories known to man, I believe, come from the Aboriginal tribes in Australia, and they're like 14-some thousand years old because they have a story about a supernova that was dated to that long ago, and they have a story about it. Stories are powerful. So what's yours? What story do you tell yourself about yourself? And then how do you speak about yourself with others? Because there's power in that. And that power hits its mark every time. What you choose to believe. Where do you aim? Where do you point that focus towards? Okay. I'm feeling like camaraderie there. So if you feel solo, you feel alone, you have enough people tuning in right now. They're like, yeah, with you. Okay. So the divine is definitely handling anything that wants to come towards you right now that doesn't have your best interest in mind. However, the divine recognizes that in allowing you to be protected, yes, but also allowing you to participate in that defense of yourself, that is loving of you, because it's empowering you. To love someone is to not handicap them, to not hobble them. This is kind of like a little more of a personal side to things for me here. It really hits home. And there's a reason why that was in my life, so that right now I could speak this from a perspective of, man, I've been there. I've been there. So I have an ex. I have an ex. And his mom, oh my. She was someone who wanted everybody to be dependent upon her in her actions. She would say the right things, but her actions, if you didn't need her, if you didn't call her, if you made a decision without her, if you had a thought of your own, like that level of frustration, she was very unhappy. And because she had everybody in that state around her, she made everybody else unhappy. So then they would all turn to the one who didn't do what she wanted them to, and they'd make them miserable as well as her making them miserable. So the person would just give up having their own identity and own thought and just give her whatever she wanted to keep the peace. So he never really grew up. He never really grew up. Partially, he wasn't allowed to. The other side, he never had the courage to actually, as my dad would say, cut the apron strips. Strips, yeah, strips. Straps. Like, you don't need to be attached to another person in order to be okay. But that was exactly what she wanted. And that is so unfair to all of the people she did that to, because the moment she's not there, what are they going to do? They don't know what to do. And yet she claimed that she was such a loving, caring, wonderful person, and she was so great. Were you really? Really? The way that she handled things, like I knew that things would never like work out. That's why he's an ex. But because of that experience, I see those red flags now. I'm wiser for it. Say that for sure. So if you're resonating with that story in any way, shape, or form, it is wise as the divine. See, very much like in a parental guiding kind of way. At least here in this moment, that's the way it's kind of coming through. Allowing you to know what it is to be strong, to be empowered, to stand up for yourself and be able to make yourself safe. To have that space to learn. I mean, yeah, they're there. They're there. They'll intervene if things get anywhere near out of hand, because boy, did they get out of hand before they showed up. Oh my goodness gracious. They really got out of hand. Woo! Wow! That was interesting. Wow. They want you to be able to stand. That was really okay. That was talk about divine intervention. They're setting you up where you can stand up for yourself and strike where everyone can see. Where you can triumph over that has kept you down in such a way that there is no doubt who won that battle. But there's no doubt. There's no question. Wow, okay, is there anything else you would like me to know? Oh my goodness. That was really different. Okay. Talk about hello. I swear it was like, I don't know. They want you to be able to let your sword lie idle. They want you to be able to triumph in such a way that no one will ever dare come at you like that again, because of the example that you'll be setting in this situation. I know why. Okay. I know why it was so forceful, guys. Because I don't know if you could tell, it was like, it kind of surprised me. It was so forceful because it caught the timeline that my mind was going down, the alternate reality, and it was like, no. So, in the alternate timeline, the concept would be that somehow you're placed into a timeline where the divine is like there, and the divine's always going to intervene, and if anything gets a little too out of hand or a little too aggressive or anything like that, like you're like be put into a sandbox almost, like a little kid, and you're made to be safe because you can't be in the normal environment. You can't be outside of the sandbox playing with the other kids. Like it was a negative spin, and that that card that came out as aggressively as it did, like that was like my hand, my arm, like I don't know if it was like a spasm, but it was like, no. That is not what this is. Very powerful. So what it is saying is, no, you're not less than in any way, shape, or form. You don't need training wheels. You don't need any kind of a concept that you can't handle or hack it, because you're in the opposite side here. Remember, you're not at the bottom of the valley. You're at the top of the mountain. You're at the top. They can't get back up there. That was their attempt to swap places with you, right there. And if you bought into it, if ever there was a divine intervention, it was right there. It was saying, nope, that tower is yours. They do not get to come into that tower. It does not belong to them. It is yours. The top of that mountain is yours. You're having your, I'm the king of the world, I'm the queen of the world moment. You're having your, it's the Lion King, and he's out on that rock. You know, Timba roaring that this is his kingdom. He's the only one that gets to stand there, no matter who has, you know, wanting eyes over it. It's his. And he had allies, and he had, you know, Simone, and he had family. You're not alone. You're not alone. And you're out there where everybody can see in this moment, that defiant strike. It's not from a space of you need to be in the kiddie sandbox. It's you're on the top of the mountain. You won this. You won your life. Fair and square. You won your sovereignty over it. You fought. And yeah, you didn't fight alone, but you made choices that so many others, like, it just was too much. Makes it kind of curious, like, how many lifetimes? How many lifetimes? How many hurts? How many betrayals? How many broken dreams? You know, like, you're here. You're on the top of that mountain. And if you're hearing, oh, hell no. Like, all attitude and just sass, just no. This is your mountain. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Divine. Thank you for that. Because that's just so powerful what just happened there. And I kind of am also like getting that that's kind of an example to an extent of turning something that is projected towards you to be so far below what the truth is, but it's like gaslighty, and then it's like, well, maybe it's this way, right? Like, it's all like oily and blue. And then you alchemize it, and you do that because you're connected, because you always reached for hope, so the divine reaches back. So beautiful. Like, flipping the script, literally. Bottom of the valley, top of the mountain. And it's not lost on me that, you know, I was using the word tower throughout this reading. I might just title it the Tower reading. Yeah. So they can do whatever they want to do, but it's not going to affect you. It's not going to affect you. If they send any kind of, you know, okay, kind of, they send any kind of death magic your way, if they want your life to end, if they want bad things to happen to you, it'll turn into what the divine chooses it to turn into. And you're co-creating with the divine. Do you choose death for yourself? If the answer to that is no, which, I mean, I hope it is, you're going to be choosing life. So whatever they send your way, whatever, if they decide, oh, well, you know, if I send her positive stuff, does that end up being, you know, like a negative then? It's not opposite day. It's not opposite day. You do not trump the creator. Period. You just don't. There's not some loophole like this is some like backwater legal bull with like a law from the ancient whatevers where it's just bunk. No. There's not some legal loophole here. Like, you don't trump the creator. You just don't. Yeah. They can't do anything. No matter what they try, they can't do anything. And that's pretty much what just keeps coming out. So I'm gonna just like bring this reading to a close and just know that you're shielded, you're guided, and you're not gonna be made to be put into a tower in a little room and like placed into a bubble. You're gonna be able to grow in confidence and awareness of yourself and actually be cared for. When you were being given nothing but like the lie of a promise of a crumb someday, so the challenge here is going to be like, this is different. How do I do this? What do I do with that? I'm so used to being in like spiritual fight or flight. How do I not be in spiritual fight or flight? Well, striking where everybody can see is the first step. And that, if anything, right now, if you're still watching this is that stand for you. If you're still watching, this is that stand for you. Because there are energies that are very aware that you're possibly watching this right now. And the fact that you're watching this is your defiant strike. Because when you're watching this, the divine is aware that you are too. And who do you think is more powerful? Yeah. I mean, of course, it's divine will. It's something that's co-created. If you're not feeling it in that extent, well, then there's just some possibilities there for some learning. The divine possibly will know what you need to be able to heal whatever is unhealed. You're never alone. You're never alone, and it is up to you to be aware. It is your choice to be aware of that or not. Free will. All right, I'm going to leave that reading here at this point. The divine, the love within me honors the divine and the love within you. Namaste.